anything down your throat. And that's my observation of Harry.
Mr. Arakaki attended the California Labor School with Harry in April 1946. It was on this trip to San Francisco that Harry met his future wife.
Well, she was secretary for Harry Bridges in San Francisco in the International Union. But I didn't realize that Harry would end up marrying Alice. But anyhow, I knew both of them are real dedicated for the working mass.
To say Harry was smitten with the lovely and intelligent Alice Takeuchi is probably putting it mildly. After visiting Alice in May, he wrote,
"To Alice, dearest of all, life is just beginning for the two of us. Remember me always. Remember me until one day that I shall return again to claim my own from San Francisco, city of wonder and loveliness, city where I found you and fell in love with you, Alice Misao."
On July 12, 1946, just 3 months after they first met, Harry Lehua Kamoku and Alice Misao Takeuchi were married at Kawaiahau Church in Honolulu. Making their home in Hilo, Harry continued his work as head of the IOW's Hawaii Division. Mitsui Thompson, widow of the late David Thompson, longtime IOW Education Director, who remembers Harry's concern over the well-being of his members, also extended to their families.
Oh, David and I were looking for a place to live, and we rented a two-bedroom apartment in a horrible apartment building. And when David talked to Harry, Harry says, "Hey, let me make some phone calls." And he got on the phone, and he made several calls, and he found us this two-bedroom cottage near the beach, which belonged to his cousin. And that was very nice.
November 1949 saw the election of Harry Kamoku as territorial president of the IOWU. George Martin worked with Harry during his last years as president.
Harry had a great sense of humor. He had a joke a day, you know, and he was an optimist. When we had any temporary setback, for an example, Harry would come in and say, "Look, don't forget, the Army of Liberation is right over that hill there. So don't get weary and don't get discouraged. Keep the faith. We're gonna make it."
Then Harry and Alice moved back to California. In May of 1950, Harry Lehua Kamoku resigned from the organization that had been his life's work. He wrote,
"Dear sirs and brothers, I hereby tender my resignation as president of ILWU Local 136 and wish an honorable withdrawal from the local as a member of the union. I am now making Monterey my permanent home with my family. My life work was dedicated to the building of a labor movement in Hawaii for all of Hawaii's workers, and I hope that what little that I have contributed there in the islands will continue to benefit the workers in years to come. I know that I have served this union faithfully since its birth and took part in many of its struggles until we became a powerful organization which has fought for the benefit of its members. I know that the cornerstone that we laid years ago through bitter struggles will carry on against the forces of reaction. My blessings go out to the officers and members of our union. May you continue to fight for the union that we love. I remain fraternally yours, Harry L. Kamoku, President."
The union responded, writing, "We, the Hilo Longshoremen, realize and honor your work, which was dedicated to the building of a labor union in Hawaii in the days when no one even knew what unionism meant. That today the workers of Hawaii, through your pioneering, are enjoying the fruits of your labor. We will continue the fight you started. We will keep our solidarity. We will remain intact." Having relocated to California, Harry pursued another dream, and on June 11, 1954, Hartnell College in Salinas, California, conferred an Associate in Arts degree upon Harry Lehua Kamoku. In 1955, 20 years after Harry first began organizing the Hilo dock workers, the IOWU, now consolidated into one local, 142, had a membership of thousands, which included longshoremen, sugar, pineapple, and general trades workers. That same year, during the union's biennial convention in Hilo, the members passed a resolution honoring Harry Kamoku. It reads in part, "Just 20 years ago, Harry Kamoku lost his job and was blacklisted from the Hilo waterfront for organizing workers into the OHLA, which later became our own ILWU. Harry Kamoku never worked on the waterfront again, but he went on to build the first strong root of militant trade unionism in these islands. And this root, from the day it was born on November 22nd, 1935, was never severed. Harry was the leader of the peaceful demonstration of longshoremen and their wives and friends who were shot down by the police when they marched in a protest against the scabs who were being used to break the strike against Inter-Island Steam Navigation Company. Harry took the lead in putting the pieces back together again and rebuilding the shattered union. He helped to reorganize the port of Honolulu, and he never stopped building the union. Be it resolved that this convention go on record honoring Harry Kamoku for his great personal contribution and to the great strength and courage that he gave to the working people of Hawaii in the earliest and toughest days of our union.
A deeply caring man, Harry responded to the union's action by replying,
This resolution brings back memories of the hard, bitter struggle that took place some 20 years ago. Today, the dreams of those early pioneers have been realized. We can only salute them and say thanks. It is a job well done. And we will continue to carry the torch and build a workers' paradise for all of Hawaii's laboring men and women.
On March 23, 1957, Harry Lehua Kamoku died of a heart attack at his home in Monterey, California. He was 51 years old. His nephew, Colin Kageyama, who was only 2 at the time, was with Harry when he passed away.
And I remember quite vividly the few hours leading up to the time that he died. We were playing, he was carrying me around, we talked. As we were sitting there on the couch, he had a stroke and he passed away. And at that point, I knew that something was wrong, and I went and saw my aunt and to my grandmother and told them that Harry was sick, and that was the time that he did die.
At the time of his death, Harry was a shopster for the Textile Workers Union, a union man to the end. In 1992, his beloved wife, Alice Takeuchi Kamoku, passed away and was buried alongside Harry in Monterey. Her family was in transition, and a decision was made to reunite Harry and Alice Kamoku with the islands he loved.
In the course of looking through the belongings, we were kind of surprised and actually happy to find out that Harry was fairly well known in Hawaii, and that there were people who, even to this time, still remember some of the achievements that he had. And for that reason, we decided that it would be nice to have him brought back here with my aunt to be in a place where he was remembered.
On January 17, 1994, Harry and Alice Kamoku were put to rest at Homelani Memorial Park in Hilo. Witnessed by dozens of family members, friends, and young union members who had come to pay their respects to this legend, the memorial service was officiated by Harry's childhood companion and fellow unionist, his cousin, the Reverend Israel Kamoku.
After they brought it back, his ashes back home here, I feel joy within my heart, you know, to see when they brought a picture to see my cousin, you know, where we sleep together, we go fishing together, we do everything together. We drink together. So when I heard he died, so I thought to myself, well, I guess I will never see him, but today I saw him. It makes me feel so happy.
Well, when I was told that they were bringing the remains of Harry and Alice, it brought back memories, made me a little bit sad, but happy that he was going to be back in Hawaii with people where he belongs.
The memorial service was followed by the rededication of the ILWU's Hawaii Division Hall and the blessing of its new conference room in honor of Harry Lehua Kamoku.
Now, earlier this morning, we witnessed the homecoming of the pioneer for the ILW movement in the state of Hawaii, not only on this island, but in the state, along with his bride, who is the former Alice Takeuchi. We're very honored for the family to think that way, to bring him back home to us, to make us whole, and we really appreciate that thought from the family. I only knew the name of Harry Kamoku because of the sign in front of the Union Hall. But you know what? I am a direct beneficiary of what Harry had worked so hard to build. Even my father, who is retired, benefited from Harry's hard work. In fact, we are all his beneficiaries.
Organized longshoremen and to bring every different races into one fold. I think that is the most important thing.
A lot of people thought Jack Hall was the leader of the ILW in Hawaii. But many forget that it wasn't Jack Hall, it was Harry Kamoku. And we started building this building. I was one of the strong supporters. We don't name this building for Jack Hall, but we named this for Harry Kamoku. And that's the reason why the honor of our great leader perpetuated here till now.
I attribute to the high standard of living here in Hawaii, partly to his efforts to organize labor in Hawaii. I think that was a great tribute today in honor of my cousin Harry.
If Harry were still alive, I wonder what he would think about the state of our unions today.
I think Harry would study the situation and would make appropriate remarks, and he would work out strategy that we thought would be, although for the changing times, would be a successful ending. He was a real optimist.
Harry Kamoku. Well, he's a kind person. See, only don't give him drink, he get. he run amok. He drink like an Indian. That's the only trouble with him. But past labor movement and anything pertaining to the working people, his heart is right there. His heart and his soul is there. He would be very happy today to see everybody organized.
Well, we did it. This is what I think he would say. We did it. The mission is completed.
If you'd like to learn more about Harry Lehua Kamoku in the 1938 demonstration, check out the Hilo Massacre by William J. Pewitt at your local library. Or call the Center for Labor Education and Research, University of Hawaii at 956-7145 to order your copy of this companion book.